What's up, yogis? Welcome back. Sesa here, an hour of yin and yang. Kate is here with us today. We're just going to jump right into it. So let's get it started in child's pose. Big toes touch. Knees can touch as well unless you prefer to open them comfortable width apart. Arms can extend forward or down the sides of your body. Forehead resting on the earth if it can. If not, you can always put a prop underneath it. But ideally, first the hips come to the heels. Your arms can extend forward or down the sides of your body. Just taking the first few moments to kind of allow yourself to make a transition. Shifting our attention from the externalities of life. And even though within this pandemic there's not necessarily a lot going on, as we are restricted much more than normal, but within all of this, stress has definitely kind of shot through the roof. Our anxieties, our emotions around uncertainty, fear, worry. So even though physically speaking, we can't necessarily go from one thing to the next, the mind is going to have much more of an ability to kind of dwell. And so these first few moments gives us the opportunity to shift our attention. Or maybe just pay attention to what the mind is sitting with, what it's holding on to. And then just give yourself permission, letting go for the next 60 minutes. So let's use a nice long exhale to help facilitate that release. Together, go ahead and release a nice long exhale. And then take a deep inhale through your nose. Send that breath to the hook of your tailbone. Feel your ribs expand out horizontally. And then open up your mouth. Take another long, slow, deep inhale through the nose, holding at the very top. Unless you're pregnant, remember you always want to keep breathing. And then open up your mouth. Take another deep inhale through the nose to hold. Keeping the lips sealed, go ahead and just slowly exhale out the nose. And then continue to breathe in and out your nose as slowly and as deeply as you can. And for the next 60 minutes, maybe just taking that stance of beginning to pay attention. Noticing things as they come up, but not holding on to them. Instead, giving yourself that permission to just like an exhale, let it go and release yourself of it. So as you're ready, I want you to go ahead and press into the palms, reaching them forward, hands spread wide, shoulders distance apart. Now push into your palms so much and wrap your triceps down towards the mat so that the forearms and your elbows almost lift up. Knit the front ribs and pull the belly tight. And then go ahead and tuck your toes and just drive your heels back enough that your knees come to a hover. Keep pressing into the palms, hovering the elbows, wrapping the triceps down, knitting the front ribs in. On the toes, you're driving the heels back. Maybe begin to draw the knees a little closer together if they're out super wide, so they're more in line with your hips. Now begin to lift from the hip creases just about an inch or two. Oh, there you go. Press down into the hands to keep shooting the hips back, trying to create more space from the hands to those hip creases. Keep lifting up in the hips, but begin to press the tops of your thighs back, straightening the legs just a little bit, not all the way just yet. Knit the front ribs and try not to let the chest fall towards your thighs. Keep the head in line with your arms. Keep the length of the spine, and again, just begin to play with pressing the tops of your thighs back, anchoring the heels down until you feel that place where your lower back might start rounding out. Downward facing dog. The feet should be hips distance apart, the heels spin back and slightly out, disappearing behind the toes. Hip creases lift as the spine falls heavy. Same principles, the palms still press into the mat. You're wanting to root through the whole circumference of your palm. Triceps hug back rather than down as you hug your shoulder blades to the outer ribs. Think of lifting the forearms forward. Breathe. And then with an inhale, we will come forward, high plank or top of a push-up. Hips level out with the shoulders, drive your heels back, firm your thigh bones up to the ceiling, but keep the hips level with the shoulder blades, even if you have to drop to the knees for modification. And then everybody, just tuck your tailbone slightly so you can pull the lower belly in. Press into the palms now so much that your chest and the back of your head lift, the triceps still wrap back. Soften the face. Take an inhale. Exhale, downward dog, lift your hips. Now find the tippy toes of your feet, knit the front ribs in, bend your knees, hover them an inch away from the ground, and then press your hips back towards your heels. So as if you're in a hovering child's pose. Now look forward, and then inhale, shoot forward to high plank and stop. Shoulders over wrists, belly tight. And then bend the knees, pull the hips back by pressing into the palms, relax the head and neck. And then look forward, inhale, shoot forward, high plank. Bend the knees, pull the hips back, hover the knees, pull the belly tight. You could relax the head and neck. Now look forward, inhale, shoot forward, high plank. And exhale, downward dog, find some rest. Now let's inhale to high plank. If you need to drop to the knees, use them. You're going to lean your shoulders forward and exhale, go halfway down, elbows hug back. And then inhale, push straight back up. And exhale, downward dog, lift your hips. So now we're just going to kind of piece all of this together. Find the tippy toes. Bend your knees, pull your hips back, that hovering child's pose, look forward. Inhale, shoot forward, high plank. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straighten the arms, and exhale, downward dog. Let's just do one more for fun. Inhale, bend the knees, pull the hips back. Shoot forward on the inhale, bend the elbows as you exhale. Inhale, straighten the arms, and exhale, lift your hips. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. So you're at a forward fold at the back of your mat. Keep the feet to hips distance, add a little bend to the knees, interlace your hands behind you. Press the palms, and I like to push my thumbs into the sacrum and then hug the elbows up to the ceiling. That's going to begin the process of opening the chest and the front of your shoulders. If that's enough, you stay there. If you want to go further, you keep the height of your elbows, but think of karate chopping your wrists now up. And maybe they fall overhead and maybe not. And then maybe play with lifting the backs of your legs up to the ceiling to work them towards straight. More weight shifts into the fronts of your feet without lifting your heels. Let the head hang heavy, maybe even nod it yes, shake it no. And then releasing the hands to the sacrum, switch the interlace, hug the elbows up, then maybe karate chop the wrists up. Find your breath. And then releasing the hands down to the mat. Just cupping the earth with the fingertips of your hands. Shift the weight into your left foot. Let's lift the right leg up behind you, flexing the heel, vertical splits. Relax the head and neck. Hug that outer left hip in. Push into the standing foot. Flex your back foot and think of spinning your inner right thigh towards the ceiling so your right hip levels out or stays square to the mat. And then bringing the hands under the shoulders, inhale, think flat back, kick the right leg back, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Now keep your right leg as it is, exhale, walk your hands all the way forward, three-legged plank. Right heel, hips, and shoulders line up. A lot of teachers call this one-legged plank, and I don't know why, because we call it three-legged dog. So I call it three-legged plank, it just makes more sense. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull the knee down and over to your left elbow. Inhale, kick it straight back, and exhale to the right elbow. Inhale, three-legged plank. Exhale to the left. Inhale, shoot it back, and exhale to the right. So just do this on your own, about 15 seconds, not super long. It might be only 2 or 3 of those. Follow your breath. And then with your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg and the hips, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, roll your hip open, relax your head and neck. Wrap your outer right shoulder down. Pull the belly to the spine. Now find the tippy toes of your back foot. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest, shoulders land at your wrist. Look forward, pull the belly in. And then inhale, lift the leg up and back. Bend the knee, open your hip. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest, shoulders over wrist, belly tight. Inhale, stretch it to the sky and open it up. And then you go on your own here, 15, maybe 20 seconds. Just adding a little movement, not so much stagnation. Make this as fluid, as graceful as you can. And then with your next exhale, we'll meet with the knee at the chest, looking forward, step next to your right thumb. Now think cobra, up dog in your shoulders. Pull the lower belly in. Think high plank in your left leg. So the left heel pushes back, left thigh bone lifts up. And then slowly reach your arms back, palms face the earth or each other. Left heel pushes back, left thigh bone lifts up. Lower belly pulls tight, front ribs knit in. Shoulders draw away from the ears, and then notice if by creating length in the back of your neck, you're shoving your chin towards your chest. You want just the slightest tuck straight back so the front of your neck actually gets long as well. And then keeping that, let's inhale, reach the arms forward, palms face each other. But as you learn to protract your shoulder blades, or that motion of wrapping your shoulders to the outer ribs, you'll begin to hug the triceps down and eventually your palms will shine up. And then with an inhale, maybe lift the arms up a little more. And then exhale, hands to the mat, pause, pull your front leg straight-ish. Just straight-ish, relaxing the head and neck, find a little rest, hug your right hip back. Think of squeezing your inner thighs closer together. Let the forehead fall ideally more towards the shin. If you have the flexibility, you could even flex your whole right foot back, rocking to the back of your right heel, but then you have to imagine you're dragging your right foot back. Then inhale, rebend your front knee. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky, crescent pose. So bend the back knee enough that you can pull your left heel forward so it stacks with the ball mount of your foot. Tuck your tailbone down so you get rid of that post or anterior tilt or the ducktailing, that Beyonce in your booty, and you tuck the tailbone slightly towards the earth, giving yourself neutrality within the pelvis. Belly pulls tight, inner left thigh, it works its way back and up as your inner right thigh works its way forward and down. Front ribs pull in. Now listen carefully. I want you to slowly push your front leg straight. So push into your front foot just to get the front leg straight. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to reach your right arm back, left arm forward, twisting without letting the hips swivel. So find a focal point, something over on the right side of the room that's going to help you stay balanced. Keep pushing into your front foot to try and maintain strength in your front leg, and listen carefully. You're going to begin to bend your back knee and reach back with your right hand, trying to touch your calf. Bend the back knee, just touching it, maybe getting that left knee to maybe hover just above the ground. So that front leg is straight, and we're really trying to just bend into the back leg as much as we can without letting the knee ever touch the ground. That left arm will help keep you up. Now take an inhale, pull yourself up, keep the arms pulling apart. Rebend the front knee. Take an inhale. Exhale, left hand to the mat, right arm up to the sky. Left heel pushes back. Now the left thigh lifts, getting the knee to lift away from the ground. Hug that right hip in. Draw that right knee forward so it stacks with the center of your ankle. Draw both shoulder blades down the back. And as you broaden your collarbone, I also want you to broaden the space between your shoulder blades. Take an inhale, maybe look up. Exhale, right hand to the mat. We'll step the right foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, our first vinyasa of the class. And exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, go ahead and walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Neutralize the spine and exhale, fold. Now shifting the weight over into your right foot, we'll lift the left leg up behind us, vertical splits. Flex that back heel, look at the toes. They should flex straight down, or if anything, they rotate just slightly to your right, but not enough that it makes that left hip fall to the inner thigh. That front left hip is actually lifting just enough to be level with your right. It's not opening to the ceiling. Hug your right hip back. Pull the belly to the spine. Now keep this as it is. You bring your hands under the shoulders. Inhale, think flat back. Lengthen the spine from that left heel kicking back. Now as you exhale, walk your hands to three-legged plank. Wrists, elbows, shoulders stack. Flex the left heel back. Pull the belly tight. Just because I made you hold it on the other side, I'm going to make you hold it on this side. Soften your jaw. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull the knee to your right elbow. First we twist. Keep the hips low. Inhale, just shoot the legs straight back. And exhale to the left. Inhale, three-legged plank. Exhale to the right, twisting. Inhale, shoot it back, and exhale to the left. 15 seconds. It might be 2 or 3 more. It's not many. Breathe. And then with your next inhale, we'll lift the leg up and back. Bend the knee and open your hip. Three-legged dog with that hip opening. Find a little stretch, relax the head and neck, wrap the outer left shoulder down. Now find the tippy toes of your back foot. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest, shoulders land at your wrists, look forward. Inhale, lift the leg up and back, open the hip, heel to butt. Exhale, pull the knee to the chest, belly tight. Inhale, lift and open on your own, breath per movement, just like we did on the other side. With your next exhale, we'll meet with the knee at the chest. You have to look forward so you can step forward next to your left thumb. Cup the earth with the fingertips of your hands. Think cobra, up dog in your shoulders, but don't let the weight of your hips sag your right thigh down. Lift that right thigh up. Pull the belly tight and then reach your arms back, palms face the earth or each other. Hovering or suspending your torso above the thigh, notice how much weight you naturally are putting into your front foot. Can you energetically push just as much into your back foot? Keep that as you reach your arms forward, get them longer, get the front of your neck a little longer. Hug the front body in a little deeper. Wrap your triceps down, see if your palms maybe shine up. And then lift the arms a little higher, take an inhale. Exhale, hands down, we pause and just slowly pull the front leg straight. And straight is a relative term. There might be a little bend, there might be a bigger bend, but as long as you're pushing the weight into the middle of the front foot, you should feel the back of your leg lifting. And the hips, they should feel as if they're being pulled up and back like they do in downward dog. If you can flex the left toes up, rocking to the heel, be my guest, but make sure you let your head and neck hang heavy. And then slowly rebend the front knee. This time we inhale, reach the arms straight up to the sky, crescent pose, Untitled. And we bend into the back knee just enough so we can neutralize the pelvis. It's very important for when we do go the direction we're going. So from the hips to the arms, you should feel and look as if you're just standing in Tadasana. Inner thighs now work away from each other. Now slowly go ahead and just push your front leg straight by pushing the weight into the front foot without shoving your kneecap back. You just want to feel your quad lifting. Keep that, reach your left arm back, right arm forward. So this might be as far as you go today, challenging your balance with both legs straight. You're on the back toes. If you want to go further, you're going to begin to bend your back knee, keep the front leg straight, and try and reach down with your left hand, touching the calf. Some people can get to the ankle. And the lower you get that right knee, the harder this obviously becomes. Pull the belly and support the spine. You should really feel this majority in the back leg. Now, as if I were pulling you up by your right hand, just pull your right hand forward, left arm reaches back, find your balance, rebend the front knee. Take an inhale. Exhale, right hand down, left arm up. This is one of those things that the first side is like, what in the hell are we doing? Second side maybe becomes a little easier. Right thigh lifts, right heel pushes back. Nice 90-degree angle in that front leg. Arms, they expand apart, but not just by pinching your shoulder blades together. Remember, the collarbone's broadened, but then you also want to pull the shoulder blades apart. Pull the front body away from your left thigh. Maybe lean back, maybe look up. Take an inhale. Exhale, left hand down. Step the left foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, let's take a few breaths in and out your nose. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Hold that breath at the very top. And then open up your mouth. One more deep inhale through the nose to hold. Don't be shy. Open up the mouth and just sigh it out. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward like you were in that hovering child's pose we did. This time, exhale, walk or jump to the front of the mat. Nice. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in. With the same flat back, inhale, Tadasana, circle your arms up, maybe look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, circle the arms to the sun. Exhale, bow forward towards the earth. Inhale, glance out. Exhale, Chaturanga in your own time. The inhale will bring your back bend. And exhale, guides downward dog. So our Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutation Series A. Something we do pretty much in every single class. So let's inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or hop. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, reverse swan dive your arms to the sky. Exhale, pull the hands to heart center. Inhale, arms fall before they rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Finish this one off on your own. And then I want you to do one more after it. You can hang in downward dog for a few breaths if you need it. There's no rush. But work your way through one more and we will meet in your next downward dog. Ideally, you close your eyes, you don't look at the screen or worry about forgetting things. If you forget something, move past it. And then go ahead and drop to your knees. Walk your hands back towards your knees, flip the tops of the feet down, and stand up on the tops of the feet in your knees. So you're just gonna lift the hips, shoulders up. Reach your arms forward and just stack your forearms like I Love Jeannie, right? Tuck your tailbone down, pull the belly in, knit the ribs together. So now as you push into the feet, into the shins, you're gonna try and keep this nice long straight line from the knees to the crown of the head. The arms are gonna help pull you back up. You're gonna slowly begin to lean back as far as you can. Tailbone pulls in, belly pulls tight. Don't let your lower back dump. And then slowly lift yourself back up. And then slowly lean back, press into the feet, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the lower belly in. Inhale, come on. So just keep doing this on your own. You can switch the cross or the stack of your arms, even that out at any point. Getting into those quads a bit. Using your core. Last one, we're gonna lean back and we're just gonna hold for 5. Just the pose, 4, not the breath, 3. Don't let anything in the belly soften, 2. And then inhale, come up. Release your hands to the mat in front of you, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Inhale your right leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip, stretching that right quadricep, hip flexor, getting a little release. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest, look forward and step next to the right thumb. Drop the back knee, top of the foot to the mat, and reach your right arm up towards the sky. So a low lunge twist, left palm pushes down, left shoulder rolls down the back. As you sink your hips forward, I do want you to squeeze the inner thighs closer together so you're not just collapsing in the groin. Now, you're going to reach your right arm to the back of the room. The palm will face the same direction as your glance or face, right? Now keep reaching back, but bend your back knee and flex the heel to the butt. You're going to want to grab your hand, or grab your foot with your hand, don't grab it. Suspend it. Heel pulls towards the bottom, hips sink forward, but inner thighs still work closer together. That right arm pulling back should help lift the right shoulder up. Breathe. Now keep that. Go ahead and release your back foot, the toes tucked. Drive your right heel back and lift your right thigh up, or left thigh up. Keep that backward reach, so opening the chest even more against that left thigh, lifting. And then take your top arm up and overhead, reaching in the opposite direction. Right palm facing the mat, right tricep tugs towards your face. Don't let the left shoulder hunch forward, roll it down the back. Pull the lower belly tight. Take an inhale. Exhale, right hand down. Turn your back heel down, warrior two. Lead with your left arm, come on up. So your front heel should line up with the center of the back arch or back heel. Just make sure your back toes do turn forward at least 10 degrees up in front of your heel. So the edge of your foot is never actually parallel to the edge of your mat. Allow your inner left thigh to actually wrap back. That left hip will hug slightly forward. Now your front hip can open safely. Draw the inner right thigh forward, get the knee to the ankle, and then push the knee out to the right. Tailbone draws down, lower belly and front ribs pull in. Now I want you to just bring your glance the same direction as your chest. You're going to reach your right arm to the back of the room and then hook it with your left arm. So you're just kind of stretching and reaching, maybe now actually looking over your backhand. This is a direction we don't ever really look in Warrior Two. So pulling that right hand to the back of the room as you keep drawing that inner right thigh to the front of the room. Breathe in and out your nose. And then slowly open the arms back up, look over your front hand, pull your front leg straight because I know you probably did it already anyways, and then rebend the front knee. You're going to interlace your hands behind you, making one fist with your hands, but now bring that fist that you just created and stuff it forward into your right hip crease. Just pull your right elbow forward, creating like a little chicken wing with that arm, but try to hug the right shoulder into the back. Now you're going to slowly try and drop your right elbow to the inside of your right knee and push your knee out with your elbow as your knee pushes in. You're going to feel a weird stretch within that right scapula, even the front of your right shoulder. Lifting the tip of your left shoulder up, hugging the front body in. Grounding down to the knife edge of your back foot. Find your breath. Now very slowly, your left hand is going to stay where it is. Just uninterlace the hands and try to reach your right arm forward. Unsupported side angle, right palm facing up. And then looking down, keep your arms, inhale, boundary, reverse warrior, reach your right arm up and back. Lift the right hip away from your thigh going forward. Keep the top arm straight, up comes first, and then remember the backward reach will come when you lift the hip away from your thigh. Take an inhale, exhale, cartwheel your hands down, step your right foot back, chaturanga. Or don't. You can always skip the vinyasas and just go to downward dog. Once you reach to downward dog, let's inhale the left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, open your hip. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest, look forward and step next to the left thumb. Drop the back knee, top of the foot to the mat, plant your right hand, reach your left arm up. So get that right arm very solid. You don't want to be sinking into the shoulder. So push your hand down by rolling the right shoulder blade down the back. And almost even here, you want to think of protracting your shoulder blade. So you're hugging it down, but also drawing it to the outer ribs. Now reach your top arm back, palm opening up to the side of the room, lifting the tip of your left shoulder up. Bend your back knee and flex your heel to your butt. Don't grab your foot. If you do, I'm going to fly to wherever you are. I'm kidding. Use the hamstring to draw the heel closer to the bottom. Pull the belly to the spine. That left arm keeps reaching back. You're going to slowly release your back foot, toes tuck, heel pushes back, thigh lifts up, press into the right palm. Now take the left arm up and overhead, palm facing the mat. Roll the right shoulder blade down the back, hug your left shoulder towards your ribs. Lift the right hip away from the left hip, sinking down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, left hand down, turn your back foot flat, and then inhale, warrior two, come on up. So remember, whether you line up heel to heel or heel to arch, that is a matter of preference. The back toe is turning forward at least 10 degrees. It could be a little bit more for the protection of your body. That right leg, that's your back leg, is your anchor. So the right femur actually locks into the hip. Your pelvis stays neutral. It's the left leg externally rotating, opening up away from the body. Tailbone draws down, front body pulls in. Now you're going to take your left arm and reach it to the back of the room and hook it with your right arm. Pulling that arm away from the shoulder. You should feel a nice shoulder stretch through your tricep, the back of your deltoid. Left knee still goes forward. You might even look over your back side towards your right. It's a weird direction to look in warrior two. It's good to switch it up though sometimes. And then slowly inhale, open the arms up, warrior two. Interlace your hands behind you the weird way if you can. Take that fist, hook it forward to your left hip crease, pull your left elbow forward, but try not to necessarily chicken wing the shoulder cap. That hugs in, the elbow pulls forward, then you drop the left elbow inside the knee if you can. Push the knee out, lift the right shoulder up, hug the front body in, and breathe. Ground down to that back foot. Soften in the face, maybe even close your eyes. Now the right hand is going to stay put. You're just going to slowly uninterlace your hands, reach your left arm forward and flip the palm up. Now opening that shoulder, finding an external rotation. Looking down, keep your half bind, inhale, reverse warrior. Push into the front foot by drawing the left leg forward, top arm reaches up, and then back is gonna come when you lift the left hip away from the top of your thigh. Take a deep inhale, exhale, windmill the hands down, step back, find your vinyasa or meet us in downward dog. From downward dog, go ahead and drop to your knees. Walk your hands back. You're going to be standing again on the tops of the feet and your shins. So the knees should be hip distance apart, and really it's 2 fists exactly between your knees generally if you have OCD like I do and want to measure. Tops of the feet ideally are down. Now this time you're going to actually place your palms onto your lower back as if the fingers were sliding into back pockets. Hug your elbows back, think chaturanga in the arms, but notice if that makes your front body just pop open. You want to hug the front body in. Now take an inhale. As you exhale, push into your shins so your hips actually go forward in front of your knees. And then if you can go up, begin to slowly go back. Camel pose. Elbows draw closer together, lower belly still pulling in, front ribs knit in. Pushing into the shins, let those hips go forward in front of the knees. And then slowly sit your hips back, rest your hands on your thighs, and just close your eyes. I hate camel pose. but we're gonna do it a few more times. So go ahead and stand up. Not a few, 2 more, 3 in total. Place your hands on the hips, hug the elbows back. If you want to get into your wrists, it is possible to do this actually with the fingers going up your back. It gets a different feeling, but do what feels right. Push into the shins. Hips need to go forward in front of your knees. And then if that up allows you to go back, go for it. Generally, if you can see the wall behind you, you can drop your hands to your heels. Thumbs on the outside of your feet, fingers inside. That'll help keep the chest open. Keep drawing the hips forward. Let the front body open. Now pull the belly in, tuck the chin, hips to your heels, sit up, rest your hands on your knees. Close your eyes. And we'll do one more. Standing up, place your hands onto your hips, hug your elbows back. Inhale, press the hips forward, grow up to go back. Push into the shins. It's the energy of the shins pushing down and back that helps the hips come forward. And once your front body opens, that's what allows you to go into this back bend. Beautiful. Take an inhale. Use your exhale. Belly in, chin to chest. Sit on your heels. Hands on thighs. Close your eyes. Find your breath. And then go ahead and slowly walk your hands forward. Keep crawling forward. Bring your hips and your elbows to the mat. We'll come into a Sphinx pose. So your elbows need to stack directly under your shoulders, right? If they're back near your hips or your ribs, it's going to be a very awkward, kind of hunched, weird shape. So elbows stacked under the shoulders, shoulders draw away from the ears. And notice if habit kicks in, if you engage your glutes and your thighs, just let the legs go soft, even the bottom. So if this is enough, you stay here. If you want to add a little bit of a hip opener, you're gonna turn your right toes out. So you're resting more on the arch of your foot. Begin to draw the leg out and bend the knee. Pull it up towards your right armpit. So you're gonna kind of be more on the inner thigh, the inner calf. Try to keep that right hip rotating down. If this pinches or gives you any sharp pains in the lower back, don't do it, okay? Keep the legs back, just work on the back bend. And then having your chest upright, your head upright is an option. If you want to keep the back bend within the cervical spine, you can build up props high enough. Kate's like, it was awkward height. So your chin can rest. If that ever becomes too much, you can always put your forehead on the blocks and release the back bend from your thoracic or your cervical spine. But just breathe. Whatever variation you're taking. So with the leg, the right leg out to the right, it's in that, say, warrior 1 or warrior 2 shape, that 90-degree angle. They call it fallen warrior. It's like we've taken warrior 1 and we've just kind of fallen on our face. This is how I feel pretty much every time I do warrior 1. I want to end up here. But then once we get here, sitting here, and actually getting through it is a totally different thing. Perfect example of the grass is always greener on the other side. Check in with your breath. Notice if it's kind of become short or you're holding it. Can you make it long, slow, rhythmic? Not necessarily forced, just mindful, right? And if your right leg is in that warrior one shape out to the side, you're going to slowly slide it back. Take your time, don't rush it. And then you'll slowly turn your left foot out to the left, bend the knee and think of pulling it up level with your hip. So again, you're trying to rest on the inner thigh, the inner calf, and your inner ankle and the arch of your foot. Finding that warrior one shape out to the side. Try not to let the left hip lift up too much. It's inevitable unless you're really Gumby incarnate that left hip point does lift. But not rolling into your right side completely to fulfill that shape. If that's happening, I'd rather have both legs behind you and you're just working within the back bend. And then with the eyes closed, I just want you to make a commitment to yourself to sit still for the next 90 seconds, right? Which is not that long in the grand scheme of things. I mean, if we compared 90 seconds to an hour, we don't think of it as much. And if you compared 90 seconds to a whole day, week, month, year, but then you get on to the timeline of eternality of the soul. 90 seconds is nothing. So if you have the left leg in that fallen warrior shape, you're going to just slowly begin to slide it back. If your forehead or chin is on props, go ahead and remove them. And then stack your forearms, slide your elbows apart, and let your forehead come to rest on top of the hands, so that your spine can just find neutral for a moment. You could even maybe waggle your hips side to side. Waggle is a real word. It's a combination between wiggle and wag. Okay, fine, I made it up. As you're ready, slide your hands under your shoulders. Press up, all fours. And then ideally you do have one or two blocks. We're gonna sit the hips to one side, bring the legs out in front of us, setting up for Supta Baddha Konasana. So scooting forward a bit on your mat. The block, it can run vertically with your spine or horizontally. Vertically is gonna be easier for those of you who know you're tighter within the front body, because you don't have to bend your spine so much over the block. It kind of helps to elongate it, and we need elongation before it can bend. Which do you prefer? Horizontally. So you'll set the first block up. It's about 6 to maybe 8 inches behind your hips. Take your hands behind you and gently work your way to laying over the block. The bottom edge of your block, for the ladies, it should lay at your bra strap line. Gentlemen, that's where our short ribs kind of start. And then your second block is ideally one level lower than your first. If that is too intense, make it the same level. If you have a pillow or something, you can also do that. And then you'll bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees flop open. Arms can fall down the sides of your body, palms face up. If you want to add some yin into your upper body, you could cactus your arms. You could even grab opposite elbows over your head and just let your forearms be pulled towards the earth. But then closing your eyes. So in Sphinx pose, in that fallen warrior shape, we had gravity kind of helping the hips to come down. But we had to kind of help fight or resist against it with the forearms lifting the chest. Whereas now gravity is working with us in the sense that it is aiding the knees, pulling out, releasing the inner groin. The hips are naturally heavy. And then gravity is literally bending you over the block. So try to melt any rigidness that might be fighting this. Try to blur the edges or that defining line of where your body and the block meet. With the front of our body very open, we should be able to take deeper breaths. Or at least that is the idea. The jaw softens, the eyelids become heavy. The arms, the knees. And we just breathe. So just remembering that in these moments of silence, it is really meant to be a place where you can begin to pay attention to the internal dialogues, whether that is happening via physical sensations, mental distress, the rise of emotions. And unfortunately, I can't be the one to point them out. It's a job that you and you alone can do. But once we have gained that attention, we then have the ability to work with, work through, and let go of whatever it may be. So I want everybody to reach the left arm over the head so the bicep kind of dangles next to the ear. You'll take your right hand to the outside of your right thigh. And close your right leg on top of the left, and then you can use your right hand in front of you to gently roll off the blocks. Your head should fall onto your left arm like a pillow. And you can take your right arm down and behind you to remove the first prop, up and over your head to remove the second. And then once the props are removed, go ahead and roll onto your back. Hug the knees into your chest. You'll cross your right thigh over the left like a lady does at the dining table. Open the arms out like wings, palms face up. If you don't have the room, cactus arm. Look to your right, let both legs fall to your left. Your choice to lift the left hip and scoot it underneath you. Right shoulder ideally should stay flat in the floor. And then make the choice to maybe hook your right toes in the back of your left calf. If your legs don't touch down on the ground, you can always slide a pillow, a bolster, or even a block underneath the shins to help support them. And then we'll just sit here within the twist. Wringing out the spine, balancing out the hips, right? Fallen warrior and butterfly are both external rotations for our femur bones. So now we're just internally rotating them, counterbalancing. This pose very much signifies almost like wringing out a rag, right? Within the legs, within your spine, wringing out and getting rid of all sorts of toxins, tension, physically, mentally, emotionally. So maybe every inhale you take it so deeply that you literally feel it brim out to the surface of your skin as if you were touched by a needle, it could pop. And then use that exhale to release all of it. And just find a softness. Take 3 more deep breaths. Audible exhales out the mouth, even if you don't feel like you necessarily need them. Last one. And sliding your left hand underneath your legs. Use your hand to kind of lift the legs up, untangle the legs, hug them into the chest, recenter the hips. Maybe massage, drawing circles in one direction. And then in the opposite. Then as you feel ready, the arms will open to a T or you cactus arm, palms face up. Left thigh crosses over the right. You look to the left and let the legs fall over to your right. Right hip can lift and slide underneath you. That'll change the degree of the twists you find. Whether you hook your toes or not doesn't matter. Really what I want you to find is the thighs sandwiching together. Left shoulder stays heavy. The legs don't touch the ground. Remember, you can slide a prop underneath them. And then just closing your eyes. The hearing you hear a lot in the yoga room is getting to this place where your breath is breathing you. And in layman terms, I think what they mean when they say that is that you quite literally feel That with every inhale, you're not only pulling air in through your nose or through your mouth, it is actually being pulled in and drawn through the pores. And then finding that moment in between the breath where it literally kind of swells or bubbles beneath the surface. And then as you exhale, you find a complete and total release as you let go. This place where every breath permeates the entire body. Every breath settles and gives peace to the mind. It doesn't mean that you don't have to breathe, right? That action happens regardless. It's an involuntary action within the body. But if we make it a conscious action, then maybe that is where we feel as if our breath were breathing us. So with that, I want you to take those 3 deep inhales and 3 audible exhales, just sighing them out the mouth. Maybe with every inhale, you take that breath a little further and deeper than your last. Every exhale, the body softens and melts a little more. 1 more. And then if you feel satiated side to side, you'll slide your right hand underneath your legs, using your arm to kind of push the legs up, and then you'll unwrap them. Hug the knees into the chest. Grab hold of opposite elbows over your shins, bring your forehead to meet your knees, and take one last deep breath in and hold this breath. And I want you to hold it longer than you think you can. Maybe even curl your toes and scrunch up your face, create some stress or tension. And then exhale and release. Sprawl open. Legs go long. Arms fall out and away from the sides of your body, palms face up. Relax the jaw, let the tongue melt back towards the earth. Unfurrow the eyebrows and unsquinch your eyes. Find this place where body and mind can fully dissipate, becoming corpse-like, hence the name of the pose. And you, the soul, finally just get to step aside, not having to worry about the body or the mind, and giving yourself a few moments to rest, but on a much deeper and spiritual level. This is it. Let go. And quite simply, let be. So a very common thing you hear within, whether it's the yoga community, different strains of Buddhism, or meditation, is that you want to get rid of the ego and simply come to the state of understanding that you are consciousness. But if you really break down that philosophy, they counteract each other. Because ego is the consciousness, or consciousness simply means to be aware, right? And ego within yoga is the I am. So that awareness of who you are. So it's not that you want to get rid of the ego, because that's actually impossible to do. Even if you get to the state of just being fully conscious, right? That consciousness means you are aware of your existence, of who you truly are beyond the body and beyond the mind. And people have replaced the words like soul or spirit with this word consciousness because it's a less kind of, invokes less feeling, I think. Because the words soul or spirit tend to be kind of tied into different forms of religion. And some have this turn off to that. The soul, spirit, or the consciousness, we have to understand that they're the one and the same. And it's not that we're trying to get rid of the ego, because that is impossible to do if we are actually fully conscious. It is the false ego. False meaning thinking I am something I'm not. If you really look at all the problems that face humanity or living entities as a whole, at large, across this creation, it has to do with false ego, or falsely identifying as being a particular body, race, religion, that one particular person or group is better or greater because of the body that they're in. It creates this differentiation amongst all living entities, that human beings are better than animals, that we are the superior race. And then even within the human race, we have sexism, racism, all these problems that we see day in and day out. And that is because we're falsely identifying with the body that we are temporarily in. And it's like the ever-wise Elvis Presley once said. He said, all living entities, they come from the same source. So if you hate another living entity, you're actually hating part of yourself. In the sense that we are all eternal spirit souls. And on that plane, there is no necessarily differentiation. We have our own unique being, but we all are equal in essence. But it is our false ego, or that illusion of thinking we're something we're not, that creates the problems. So to make that shift, we have to start within ourselves, stepping away from identifying as being this body or any of the labels we've attached to it. Truly seeing ourselves for who we are. And once we can do that, we can begin to see all other living entities as eternal brothers and sisters. It should be offered the same love and respect as we want ourselves. So this is just something I want you to think about. Whether you lay here in Savasana, that is up to you. Or even if you have to get up and go, something I hope that ultimately you take with you off the rubber mat. Whatever you choose to do. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me today.